Hello and welcome everybody to the GMAN Division 5A Season 14 recap for Week 6. It's the second to last recap before the split and the second to last time that we will hear each other. I have never heard you, so that you will hear me. Unfortunately, last week I was very busy. I was very busy this week, but I made time for this recap. Unfortunately, though, the award ceremony had to go to the chopping block, so they will be left out this week. But we will have them again next week. We will have the end of the seasonal split awards. Also, we will have we finally have another look at the bold predictions everybody sent in. Almost everybody, mostly me. Yeah, and of course also we will know who goes to the play-ins. And for that, games have to be played. And this week it was the Full Metal Chemists against the Chinese Numbers. And yeah, what does a blocker do? He blocks the path of his enemy. What happens when you do this? You get punched a lot. And nobody, really nobody, got punched more than Alfred von Bayer II. So job well done, MVP for you. Also, Sun finally succeeded a pass, and not even a vanity one. I'm led to believe that he succeeded many more passes in the past, but I've seen so many vanity passes fail for the Chinese Numbers by now that I think an MVP is in order for a succeeded pass. So, what happened in this game? The Brats received and immediately went out and secured the right flank. The Chinese Numbers reacted by forming a wall around them, to which the Brats went into full base contact. I mean, you have more strength and you have the guard, so that makes kind of sense. Once more, the Brats underestimated the depravity of rebel coaches and their tendency to hire magicians. The fireball felled 3 players, one of them the ball carrier, which allowed Yi to swoop in and snatch the ball like a high elf. He ran off to the other side of the pitch, banking on his fellow teammates to screen for him. Unfortunately, the goblins failed all their dodges, also like high elves. Walter Nernst got the ball loose, but it was never safe, and what followed was a series of failed dodges, failed GFIs, double skulls, until the ref showed mercy and blew the whistle for the halftime. And with that, I noticed something in these match result statistics that Cyanide programmed so perfectly, because look at all those block dice you see here. Double skull, rerolled. Double skull, rerolled. Double skull, rerolled. No double skull. No double skull. But there were a lot of double skulls in this game, and so I looked at those, and I also looked at the Chinese Numbers, and they also had turnovers from double skulls, and it seems like if you block and get a double skull and you have no reroll left, or otherwise choose to take the skull, it will not show up in this thingamajig, in these after action reports. So, just so you know, this is wrong. Like, so much here. So much is wrong. Also, statistics. If you ever had a Yeti or something else have the ball, and you look at the yards running, you will find that most of the time they ran less than the distance between the LOS and the end zone, because if you follow up after a block, it does not count as running with the ball. Anyway, second half. The second half began with a blitz, and Niels Bohr GFI'd under the ball and caught it. He got badly hurt right after, but the ball was loose, and after a bit of a brawl, landed in the hands of Robert Bunsen. The Brats managed to stall until turn 14. The ball was relatively safe at the beginning of the turn, but when the blitz was a push that opened up a serve opportunity, Kjeldal took it, giving up his safe position in the process, and he had to abandon the stall, giving Mandaloth 2 turns to work with. Starting the drive 10-8, the Chinese Numbers were able to storm the Brat side of the field, who were able to get a man on the ball carrying thrower in the backfield, but couldn't close every avenue, and a nice pass into hand of play secured the draw. Yes, and that's the 1-1. I think it was perfectly reasonable as a result. very, very fair result. We got SPP for lots of people, 18 for the Chinese numbers, and 14 for the Full Metal Chemists. And we also had level ups. We have a level up for Johannes Brönstedt, who got an edgy up. So the very good looking Bread team looks even better now with all this stuff. Also, you might have noticed that there was someone called Otto Hahn in this roster, was a peasant who had sneaky git, and somehow he only was there for 2 games. He wasn't injured. He's just not in the roster anymore. Yeah, anyway, edgy up. Very, very much needed on the Bread roster, and great for them. I love edgy up knights. Strength up is also nice, but I think for winning games, actually the edgy up might even be better. So, and also we have the Chinese numbers, and here we have Sun, the Skaven thrower. Also level up, also block, so we have some redundancy, which is actually very much needed on AV7 pieces, so very nice. Both of them double normal. Cool beans. So, next up we had Somewhat Engaged against the Legion 9 Urus. And Admin Abuse got a nice welcome back, we missed you present from the MVP committee. That's all. That's really all. Aquarius Gore, on the other hand, did bugger all to deserve it, but still got the MVP. Such are the fickle ways of the Chaos Gods, I suppose. And you see here 7 armor breaks, 4 armor breaks. This was a slap and tickle get together of these 2 teams, even if you have Mighty Blow on one. Did not happen. Yeah, so what happened instead? The Legion received and formed the tried and trusted meat wall, which they would have tried to tackle from 2 sides for about half a turn, until they said to hell with AV6 and the ball carrier got Admin Abuse to the face. The ball was loose and everyone wanted to get their grubby hands on it. Lots of pushing and shoving, and later, and I mean it was really lots and lots of pushing and shoving. It was turn 2 that the ball was loose, and turn 7 the Wood Elves made away with the ball for a turn 7 touchdown. So, and in this time, no player held the ball longer than really the turn they picked up the ball, and if they even managed to do so. And there were no casualties in between, only 1 serve, and I think it was 2 KOs. Nothing mattered much. The second half was very sunny, which didn't hold Dreamify off from throwing vanity passes. A failed one of those made Glorion overcommit to a steal and opened the path for a pointy-eared potato that scored on turn 12. To add insult to no injury so far, the next drive started with a blitz for the Woodies. Frustrated with how the game went so far, Lucius Vorenos finally added the injury and killed a dude. Leogor then failed to pick up the ball, and with their side swarming with Wood Elves, that's as good as an own goal. Turn 13, 3-0 for Somewhat Engaged. The Elves called it quits then and there, and let the Chaos march the ball into the end zone for a final 3-1 scoreline. Yeah, we had SPP again, 14 here, and yes, I'm counting it live, 17 on this side. And unfortunately, one of those was a dead guy. What did I just do? Teams, that's where I want to go. Because Somewhat Engaged lost #MyDudesComplainer, he was dead, and he got a level up. His first level up. Poor guy. On the other hand, I got a level up and I got tackle. Nice. I like my tackle. On the other side, we have the Legion. And on the Legion, Aquarius Gore got a level up. Got a claw. Mighty Blow Claw without a block. I mean, if it's your dedicated blitzer, yeah, you can do that, but It's so unsafe. So unsafe. Anyway, yeah. Otherwise, not that much development yet. Still. Mostly on Leogor, which is always what happens. As soon as you have a dedicated ball carrier beastman, that guy takes off and the other ones lag behind. So that's this one. And we go to the High Toon Hustlers versus How Good People Turn Evil. Yeah. And this is the guy the High Toon Hustlers choose as their MVP. Tells you everything you need to know about the game, doesn't it? And then if you look over here at what the MVP for How Good People Turn Evil, yeah, what he did, then you think even less of the game, and yeah, now you fear for somebody's bold prediction. So what happened in the game? Lots of passes, no touchdowns. That's what happens. Hindus scammed a wizard for 80k of his own money, and the High Elves received the ball. Herringsword went as usual over the flank, but this time got stuck and began losing players. At the beginning of turn 4 he had lost players to punches, the crowd and the pitch, but mostly KOs, so there was hope. Though he only had 6 players to play with, and a retreat into the backfield was in order. The Elves tried it again over the left flank, but were swarmed by undead once more. They scrambled into the midfield, lost the ball only to get it back turn 8, passing it to the scoring thread and failing the final dodge, like always. Then, halftime, and what do you do when your opponent fails 4 out of 4 KO rolls and you have a full team? Well, you stall, comfortably. With 2 more KOs on the line of scrimmage, it was 11 versus 5 before the High Toon Hustlers made their first move in the second half. In turn 11, the Elves reduced their numbers to 3, and Hindus gave the ball to Diabolism, the Flash Golem, who scored completely unmolested on turn 16. With not enough players left for a one-turn touchdown attempt, the High Toon Hustlers got another vanity pass in, as well as their first defeat in the regular season. Yeah. Really not that much happening. We don't even have many blocks. 20 blocks against 21 blocks. That's what happens if all the High Elves are on the sideline. And wake up after KO. 8 failures for wake up. And those successes were all in turn 16 when they came back after the touchdown of the Flash Golem. Which was, by the way, if you missed last week, not the recap, but if you didn't look at the games, what Hindus did to Sir Trevor MacDonald. Out of these 3 touchdowns, 2 were by a Flash Golem. Yeah, teams. We have no level up on How Good People Turn Evil, but we can look at them and see now we have 2 block Flash Golems here. Yeah, he also got top banana. Very nice. I don't think it's the actual top banana, is it? Pick one match. That means no. Probably not. Yeah, but we had a level up on the High Toon Hustlers. We had on Robberly, who got block. Yeah. So we see here only one wrestle on the team. The rest goes with block, which is not what the other High Elf team does. Goes with very much wrestle. Yeah. Anyway, we now go to our last game. This last game of the week, which was a Jurassic Sparks versus the Top Bananas. And Tsar of the Moon saw that there was a roster player on Sir Trevor MacDonald's team who didn't fit the theme and did him a favor of killing Fourthborn. It's exactly how you're supposed to pronounce that. Who got the MVP because Sir Trevor McDonald said it amuses him when his players die. So the MVP committee thought, well, this guy amused our head coach, so he surely has to get the MVP. Unfortunately. So, the Bananas received in sweltering heat and moved the ball first to the left flank and then, upon encountering a scaly Wallosaurus, into the backfield. Turn 1 and turn 2 ended with a snake dodge for the Elves, the latter leaving the ball carrier exposed to a Saurus blitz, which immediately knocked him over. The Bananas managed to get one player next to the ball and snake the dodge with the second. The only problem left for the Jurassic Sparks was picking up the ball, so the Bananas got another chance, picked up the ball, and 1 and 9 another dodge to make the ball carrier safe. Again. Then the Lizards failed to pick up. High Elves failed to dodge. Lizards failed to pick up, but the bouncing ball was caught by a skink thanks to catch. The High Elves, out of rerolls, turned over on a skull this time, and the Lizards finally made a cage on turn 6 and scored a touchdown turn 7 after another failed dodge by the High Elves. One turn remained, and due to the sweltering heat, no High Elves were out, but the Croxigore and 2 Saurus were out. And that's normally not what you want to see as the High Elves, because if you have only one turn left, it's most likely not amounting to anything, and the players that are out are guaranteed to come back in the next drive, and everyone that is on the field might leave the field. So the Croxigore and 2 Saurus were guaranteed to come back in the next half. But, all that is just a theory. The Bananas appeared to be completely impervious to heat and began the second half up 10-8, because, the Crocs and 2 Saurus came back, but a Skink and a Saurus left again. Oxaster went over the left flank but got stuck in a swarm of elves, and on turn 11 even appoed a badly hurt skink. Yes, because he only had 2 on the field by then. Unfortunately, his last remaining skink left the field later on the same turn with a KO. If he had appoed that, he would have had a skink on the field. Yeah, leaving the Jurassic Sparks with the Crocs and 5 Saurus on their offensive drive. Luckily for them, the removal game started to pick up at this point, and of the 10 elves that started turn 11, only 5 saw the end of turn 14. On turn 15, Crepas picked the ball up as if it was his job and brought it into the end zone turn 16. No problem for Saurus. Should always carry on Saurus. Why even have skinks? Yeah. SPPs, very unfortunate for the top Bananas, only 3 remained on the team. On the other hand, we have here 17 for the Jurassic Sparks, nice haul. And also, I did it again. And also we have a level up on the Jurassic Sparks. Tsar of the Moon got Mighty Blow. So we now see where he wants to go. He wants to go for the removal game. And we have a 3rd rostered skink. This is first, isn't it? Did I miss him? Nope, he's just new. Very, very new. Nice. Okay, so these were the games. Now let us look at the standings, because it's only one game left, so the standings are very much important for who has a chance for playoffs. And here we have, obviously, Hindus and How Good People Turn Evil. Everyone expected him to win the division, let's be honest. In first place, he needs, nonetheless, at least he needs a win to definitely go through. He is playing against Kjeldal, who has been in second place almost all season so far, and is the only undefeated team in this division. Those two play against each other. If any one of the wins, he wins the division. If it's a draw, Herringzord and his High Toon Hustlers have the chance to win the division, because if it's a draw, We have 14 points for Hindus. We would have 14 points for the High Toon Hustlers, but the High Toon Hustlers would have the better touchdown differential. So, High Toon Hustlers still have a chance if we get the draw. Who are they playing against? They are playing against Dreamify. And Dreamify has, at the moment, his whole team back. He has Admin Abuse, and if Admin Abuse is on the field, he very much wins games. If he's not, there's a problem for them. So, yeah, those two are the games that we have to look out for. I'm really hoping that this game will be played first, and this game will be played second, because it's even more suspenseful if Herringsword wins this game. Yeah. In the bottom part, we see Oxaster having a comeback in the latter parts of the season. Now in 5th place, even possibly able to go to 4th place. Theoretically, even 3rd place. Nope, not 3rd place, because if Herringsword gets 0 points, then Dreamify gets 3 points. So 4th place is in range. On the other hand, we see the Legion 9 Urus. They got all their points in the first 2 games, and then loss after loss after loss after loss. And also the Bananas had 1 high point when they crushed Dreamify's dreams, and that's all they had. The Chinese numbers, Underworld, always hit or miss, and this time in the beginning, if the blitzers are not developed, it's more miss than hit, so that's also to be expected. Yeah, and then let's go to the actual games. The headliner, Full Metal Chemists against How Good People Turn Evil. Almost the same team value. We are 20k over here on the Full Metal Chemists, so I hope Kjeldal remembers to just get rid of 20k. And I'm not quite sure what to think. We have a nicely developed red team. We have a huge Necro team with their dirty player, which the chemists don't have, with a Mighty Blow piece, this block on all the important pieces, and even on Seduction. And from what I've seen, Hindus is not really fond of his ghoul, so I think the tackle on the knights is not as important. But you can safely have Johannes Brennstedt carry the ball, because we have no strip ball compared to Walter Nernst here, who is the perfect ball sacker in this matchup. But the big but is we have the dirty player, we have the Mighty Blow, we have werewolves. I think it will come to attrition, and I think that the attrition game will most likely go in favor of Hindus, and I would guess Hindus is going for the 2-1 grind again, as always. Does he have enough money for... He does not have enough money to scum a wizard, so actually expect him to cull zombies. So he might fire 1 or 2 zombies just to get his team value low enough to scum a wizard. Yeah, on the other hand, we have lots of guard for the Full Metal Chemists, which might be nice. We have all the blitzers, but we have 3 tackle. All the blitzers, only 2 blitzers actually with a dodge skill. Yeah, I think this goes Hindus' way. I think he will get his 2-1 grind, and I think he will just outlast the Brett team. The Brett team will not be full in the second half and will not have a chance to do much. That's my prediction. And thus my prediction is, as always, that Hindus will actually win the division. Then we have Legion 9 Urus against the Top Bananas, the two bottom dwellers of the division, both on 4 points. Yeah, the Top Bananas have seen better days, much better days. They have, but what is left, except for Top Banana Peel, are all leveled. Unfortunately, the guard is out for this most important game. Seriously, I don't think they are up to snuff against Chaos. I think the Chaos can actually form their favorite dish, the meat cube, and just win it from there. They also have some form of removal game, but from what I've seen, those guys tend to remove themselves. So all you have to do is form your meat cube, march it forward slowly, and these will fall on their own. I think Claudion has this. Sorry, Trevor. Then Chinese numbers against the Jurassic Sparks, and here we have the two teams with the stunties in it, and we have one tackle on the whole field, but much more strength on the Crocs, on the Saurus. The Crocs, the most important piece here, once more. Because of the guard, not so much, although it gives the Saurus 3 dice on goblins, but the prehensile tail and the automatic strength 5 combined with the mighty blow means that probably the Croxigore will reduce the number of goblins in an active and in a passive way. On the other hand, naturally with a claw, mighty blow, the enemy of Saurus, the hunter of Saurus. So both teams have chances for a good removal game, though the Chinese numbers will remove the important pieces. And the Jurassic Sparks will remove the goblins, most likely. More likely than not. But Oxastar, on the other hand, is on a winning spree at the moment, while the Chinese numbers are dwindling in the draw. So maybe it's just a motivational thing. Nonetheless, I think the Chinese numbers got this. I think I've talked myself into betting on the Chinese numbers at 2-1. And then, last but not least, somewhat engaged against the High Toon Hustlers. And we have Butch Cassidy, the guy with the mighty blow, the guy who was destined to take out Admin Abuse once more, is gone, is out for this game. But we have 2 tacklers, which is also very nice for Herring Sword. On the other hand, Dreamify has everyone he needs. He has 1 catcher. Okay, could have been more. Doesn't need more. He has his 2 War Dancers, both with tackle, very important against the High Toon Hustlers. The High Toon Hustlers, yes, they do have 2 tackles, but you can't tackle all of those guys. The Tree Man is up. The Tree Man has Juggernaut. Interesting choice. Didn't see that before. Must have had that from last time. I mean, yeah, sure. If you blitz with him, you ignore both downs. But are you really going to blitz with Mentor that much? When you have Admin Abuse and even dedicated Recapper? It X for doubt in this case. Yeah. But Juggernaut, still a nice skill on a big guy. And Dreamify is a much more experienced coach than me. He will know why he does that. Now for the prediction. Who will win this? This is a very hard game for me to predict, actually. Um, it all comes down. I think it all comes down to admin abuse, and if he survives with his AV7, AV6, that he can be thrown in the face of the ball carrier and knock something loose, and then hopefully for Dreamify, his team will score fast enough that he will not be beaten into a pulp. On the other hand, this team looks to be much more less explosive, but much more consistent and has much more staying power, and um, the ability to play a longer game, I would say. To play a patient game. So very, very hard to predict. I'm curious what you guys think, but unfortunately this recap will go out on a Thursday evening, so maybe it's a bit too late to get some opinions in. Yeah, very hard. Just so if I predict Herringzord to win this, to make everything a bit more suspenseful in the top, that means I cast a curse him so that Dreamify wins. So I have to tip for Dreamify to win. But I've not managed to cast a curse Dreamify yet. But it's a Herringzord game, so it might also be a draw. And Dreamify hasn't had a draw yet, so he needs a draw. Just to make his stats symmetrical. It will be a 2-2. So that's I have no idea. And with that splendid analysis, I will leave you to your week 7, to your last week, and hopefully see you guys next week with more stuff, with the bold predictions, with the end of the split awards, and with a party for whoever wins the division. So I hope you enjoyed this recap, and I see you guys next week. Bye!